Hello friends and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise, swearsies, it's just a fact and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Thank you so much. Today we're jumping into r/NeckbeardStories. Actually, we do have one from NeckbeardStories, but the other one comes from my personal subreddit r/ReddXreads. I have had quite a day on the Twitch stream. I started reading some stories that I had already read, so I should be good and warmed up. Little bit frustrated that they are things that I did not remember, but that's just how it be sometimes. There's a lot of videos on the channel, to be quite fair. And Twitch chat seemed to be okay with it. You know, they're like, I don't remember this one. Like, okay, me too, apparently. But like I mentioned, Twitch chat out here gassing me up. If you'd like to come through, that link is in the description. We'll get some additional plugs and disclaimers out of the way, and then we will dive right into some of this hot, fresh neckbeard cringe that I haven't read before. I'm watching my friend become a neckbeard and I won't do anything about it. I mean, that sounds a little bit mean, a little bit evil to just watch it happen and not try to have an effect. But if you try to have an effect, he's probably not going to listen anyways. So if we know anything about neckbeards, it's that they have to choose their own path. And if they choose the path of neckbeardery, well, there's not a whole lot that we can do. All that will happen if you say, hey, don't do that, is going to add to his confirmation bias, and then he's going to dig himself deeper into the hole. You know, I guess let's see how it goes. Why OP won't do anything. Before I get into this, I put friend in quotes because we used to be closer back in school. Now we just occasionally text a tiny little bit, but we follow each other on Instagram. Yeah, that's the most official kind of official, isn't it? So yeah, not friend, mutual follower on Instagram. Hooray. That's meaningful, maybe. Not if you're an old person like me, but I think these kids really take that seriously. Also, sorry for any mistakes. English isn't my first language, and even though my English isn't bad, I don't usually write longer paragraphs. And then just the longest paragraph I've ever seen follows. A little text break would be helpful, but it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine, probably, mostly. All right, so let's call my friend Jay. He's now 20 years old, and he lives, and has been living since I've known him, with his grandma. I mean, 20 years old, that's okay. You're still trying to get it figured out. It's hard to move out of your grandma's house, your parents' house. Especially in these days and times. I sort of get where Jay's coming from, honestly. Jay has always been on the chubbier side, but he used to be a really funny, chill guy. When I was first starting my last year of school, he got expelled because he never did his homework, had bad grades. Even though he wasn't dumb, he often just skipped school entirely. Yeah, that's what I did. 9th grade, dropped out. Got a GED. Went to college, dropped out. I thought for a long time that my life was not going to turn out well, and who knew? People want to listen to me yell at a microphone on YouTube for some reason. So thank you guys for being here. He had to retake this grade at a different school, and there he slipped into a weird circle of friends. Is that like the weird kid school, the bad kid school? They tried to send me to that one too. It also didn't work out. It doesn't matter what school you send me to. I don't feel like going, all right? I don't feel like I'm learning anything. I remember they spent like 2 weeks reading through Catcher in the Rye, and I just slept through the entire class because I read Catcher in the Rye when I was like 10 years old. And then I aced the test and everybody's like brain is blown. They're like, what? How? I'm like, bro, do you not read books? What's going on here? He started to smoke, talk differently, and became violently homophobic. I am far from straight, so I stopped texting Jay. Yeah, that seems advisable. Now we get some context as to why OP doesn't want to do anything about it. Then, a year later, I saw a post that Jay had made on Insta about an anime that he had watched and liked, And since it was an anime, I was debating on watching it. So I texted him what exactly it's about and if it's worth watching. It's probably not worth watching, honestly. Anime, yeah, miss me with that. It's a vast generalization. The comments are gonna be seething, but I don't apologize. I'm not into it. We talked for a little bit, and I don't remember the context, but he said something like, but some traps are actually kind of hot. Even though I really have a problem with the gays. Oh my God, the gays! They always travel in packs, don't they? It's gonna come out in the wash later that Jay is actually gay himself. I'm about 90% sure there. I, startled as I was by that statement, asked why, and he didn't even have an answer for me. A few months later, Jay texted me saying that he's sorry for saying that, and he now found friends that taught him that it's nothing bad and all that. Good, bad? Who even really cares? Like, it doesn't affect your life at all. Why invest any energy into something like that? I just don't get it. You had to have a circle of friends teach you? Jay. At least he's learning, I guess. I was happy for him because it seemed like he was becoming his old self again. Just now his old self, but also with a weird obsession for fictional girls with large breasts. Yeah, we grow complicated as humans as we grow older. I was wrong about that assumption, however. Recently, there was a convention, and he sent me a photo of himself and a cosplayer. Uh-oh. He put on some pounds, had an unkept bun. Oh, man bun. Oh, no! He had a neck beard, of course, and he was wearing a shirt with an anime girl with her out. Like, completely out? Yeah, that's not appropriate. I guess you can do it at an anime convention, but I wouldn't be caught dead in a shirt like that. Safe to say, this was not what I had expected. Since then, everything's been getting worse and worse. He said he's only really on Discord nowadays and doesn't leave the house that much. See, there's some of that self-realization twinkling through. I don't know if it's just an observation or if he's actually reaching out for help, but he does realize, I think, that that's not the way that things should be. He's gonna pull out of it eventually. Just takes some people longer than other people. And yes, he became a Discord mod. Good for him. My Discord does not run at all without mods, so bless up. I learned from an ex-friend of his that Jay hosts a Discord server in which he preferably has girls who cosplay or Japanese girls, and he calls all of them his princesses. Oh, God! Yeah, there's the cringe. He's just collecting kittens on Discord. Hello, kitten. Oh, make it stop, man. You realize that like 70% of those girls are just dudes LARPing as girls. I'm pretty sure. But don't tell him that. His head's gonna explode. I'll most likely just remove him from every platform that we follow each other on and leave him be. I don't like what he does, but it's not my business. And I'm scared of him being weird to me too, since he doesn't know what I look like now. He remembers me as a 13 to 15-year-old punk kid, and now I'm a 21-year-old goth woman. I mean, punk and goth, relatively close together, but yeah, definitely not a person that I would consider risking myself to save. I was willing to go to bat for Jay basically the entire time, up until I found out about his creepy Discord server. Because, you know, not all Discord mods are bad. Not all Reddit mods are bad. They do have a bit of a reputation, but I think that's been like a small minority that's given them that reputation. You got two types of people. People who want to take advantage of the power and people who just want to do their job. I was hoping that Jay would be the latter kind, but it doesn't seem to be the case. He seems to be looking to take advantage of basically anything. And it does seem to me to be like some sort of grasp for control over his own life. But this is not the way that you do that. You got to get outside, touch some grass, get a job, move out of grandma's house. Then you'll be like on your own, feeling better about yourself, and you won't feel the need to collect Discord kittens or persecute people because of their orientation. So yeah, definitely not a friend. And if he was a friend, then he shouldn't be a friend anymore. He's making his own decisions, and like I said way at the beginning, you can't really save him from that. He has to have his own come to Jesus moment. Although he won't probably actually come to Jesus because he's an enlightened atheist. I'm enlightened by my own intelligence, not some false god's blessing. Ah, that's delicious. That's wonderful. Relatively short and sweet and distanced, but the next story, perhaps not as much. So let's go ahead and check it out. Dating a Neckbeard, the adventures of Kendra and Camobeard. Yeah, Camobeard. Got some of those cargo shorts. That's what neckbeards like, isn't it? I've never actually seen a neckbeard wearing them. Usually they go for just regular jeans, but we can't persecute jeans as a whole. So instead we come after camo cargo shorts, right? I guess we'll have to see how it goes. Hello there, you's a baby bear. This will be a bit of a saga, not a very long one, but definitely one worth noting as I go through my experience dating a neckbeard. Okay, I gotta make a mental note that we need to continue this at some point. This story happened a while ago, and it was very, well, it gets a little dark down the line. Oof. And even a bit in today's tale. So I warn you that if you are sensitive to topics such as abuse and assault, well, this might not be the story for you. Honestly, I don't shy away from it. I've shied away from it recently because YouTube's had a bit of a crackdown on me, but you were brave enough to write it. I'm brave enough to read it. And I guess Elijah is brave enough to censor it to the point where we could finally monetize it. So yeah, this is a doozy, so we're just gonna go ahead and name the cast. There's me. You can call me Kendra. Oh, hey Kendra, good to meet you. I'm an average height, chubby, nerdy girl who was often picked on for my looks, which caused low self-confidence. The name isn't real, as to kind of protect my privacy and avoid any conflict with anyone involved in this story. I am 16 at the start of this. Honestly, don't let anybody else get in your head, cause that low self-confidence. It's an easier thing to say than it is to do, but you just gotta know who you are. It gets easier as you get older, luckily. I know as a teenager, it's all about what other people think of you, but you'll grow out of that. There is also my former best friend, who we will call Leah for her own privacy. We have a very codependent relationship, and I eventually had to cut her off. But she was very supportive during all of this, and I am very grateful for her. Also 16. Codependent isn't necessarily like the worst thing in the world. Wifey and I are pretty codependent, just not in a toxic way. But I'm sure you had your own reasons for cutting her off. I'm not going to judge too harshly based on 3 paragraphs, all right? And then there was the one and only man who haunts my nightmares, Camobeard. He wore the same cologne as my dad. Oh no. Does your dad wear Axe body spray, or is he actually out here classing it up? He drenched every single piece of clothing in it like he had filled a bucket with the stuff, and then dunked his clothing in that bucket and let it dry. I hated it because my dad really loved that cologne, but stopped wearing it after we broke up because I could not stand the smell. Well, that was kind of your dad to listen and change it up. Scent is really closely tied to a lot of core memories, so part of me wants to say you should be able to get over it and let daddy do what he enjoys, but if you can't, then you can't. And props to dad for doing the Chad thing and just obliging. Maybe when you move out, he'll be like, okay, now I'm gonna buy that cologne again. Let's start at the beginning. I used to run an old Instagram account with my friend Leah, and we used to go live on it a lot to just sit and talk to people. Yeah, I like that too, over on Twitch, check me out. At some point, I had met him during a live with her and we started talking. He was flirting and doing a pretty good job of it, at least through the screen. So did you meet up with him at some point? I guess you did if you could smell his cologne. But yeah, what a small world to meet somebody on Instagram Live and actually be close enough to meet them. I mean, it turned out to be a curse in this case, but I also met wifey online, so I don't know. Take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts alive. The facts alive. Telling me I was pretty and that he liked my outfit. He did throw a sideways comment about me wearing makeup, and I thought it was sweet that he liked his girls natural. That's just something people say. I'm pretty sure. It is my theory that that comes from a place of insecurity. He just doesn't want you out there looking your best because he knows that somebody else is gonna come and shoot their shot because you're looking fine with your makeup. You know what I'm saying? I would, of course, come to regret all of this. He asked for my Snapchat and I gave it to him despite Leah's protests. Yeah, she knew. She knew. Online creepers don't do it. Leah said he was bad news and tried to warn me since he had preyed on her friends before, causing them a lot of trauma. Oh my God. Yeah, definitely do listen to that. I thought Leah was just super intuitive, but no, she's seen him at work before. What the hell? She wouldn't elaborate, so I thought she was just worried about losing me. I had issues in the past of her not liking guys that I was with simply because I paid less attention to her. But this time, that wasn't the case, as I would learn later on. Oof, hindsight is definitely 2020. I can see why you didn't listen, but oh my God. I wish she would have just grabbed you by the shoulders and shook you a little bit and been like, I'm serious. I know I did some stuff like this in the past, but this time I'm for real. Camobeard kept trying to talk to me every day, planning a date with me at the local Asian buffet restaurant. It's eat all you can. Yep, what a savings. Countless times he tried to steer the conversation to something intimate, and I avoided that like a pro, having been on the internet for a long time and having dealt with things like that before. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say it, but it must be so hard to be a chick on the internet. I've had people steer conversations to some weird places, but those places are nowhere near as weird as the things that we cover on the channel, so I'm pretty comfortable with it. Red flag number 2. He and his mom, one of the sweetest women that I ever met, I really do miss her and his sister, picked me up at my place in their truck and drove us to the restaurant. He was drenched in cologne, wearing a cobalt blue collared long sleeve shirt in the summer with pit stains. Well, it sounded okay before the pit stains, and he was wearing those stains before he ever even saw me. And his slicked hair was pulled back into a ponytail, something akin to the cast of Hamilton if they had used way too much gel. He had the mere ghost of chops on his face, obviously having trouble growing those patchy things. Mutton chops is probably not a good look, but even if you can pull them off, make sure that you can grow them first. And I guess being 16, I could allow the mom to come on the date or something like that. I'm glad she was really sweet, but yeah, her being too sweet, her being too soft, allowed her boy to devolve into a neckbeard. I've seen both sides, the neglect side and also the you're my precious little prince that can never do any wrong side. So I definitely know what we're getting here. So Camobeard swept me up into a hug. Despite me being a little uncomfortable being touched, I did hug him back. You probably should establish that, right? Just whisper in his ear, please don't. I had explained to him that I had recently been and didn't like being touched without being asked. Oh, you did establish it, so he's just being a jerk. God, I need to read ahead in these posts a little more. How many red flags are we up to? We can't even count them all. He's just like a bundle of red flags in a blue collared shirt with pit stains on it, taking a march through China. I had on a nice dress, and I had done up my hair to impress him. More effort than he deserves, probably. And I had an undercut at the time because my hair was so thick that I couldn't do much with it. And he seemed okay with it because I had a way of wearing it that he said was, quote, still feminine enough. Oh boy. Okay then. Did I take this as a red flag? Absolutely not. Although again, hindsight. I stuck around thinking that he was just a very traditional guy since we lived in a small town. We had our dinner, which he scarfed down, making a lot of noise as he ate, much like a pig eating slop. I decided to walk over to a bookstore to, I don't know, look at some books. On this walk, he stopped me several times to get me to try and bang him. What? On the first date? Yeah, he's just a nice traditional guy. Please touch it. Just blow on it. So traditional. I refused, telling him that I wanted to wait until marriage, which he had no respect for. Bro, please tell me this is like the first and only date. Please tell me that you're out of here after this. Probably not. She said it's a saga. So, I don't know. At least we learned a lesson is the least that I can say for it. He begged and pleaded and would make me make out with him, which was uncomfortable to say the least. Oh my God, coercing you into a makeout session? That's not how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to lean in for the kiss and then she presents you her forehead or something. Turns her face so you kiss her cheek, you know? And all of this, again, after she established that she doesn't want to be touched. Ugh! And OP is in the Twitch chat. She said they dated for 6 months. 6 months of misery! Oh, God. He had some seafood at the restaurant. Oh, God. Make out with me in my fish breath. Ew, dude. I hate the smell of fish. I won't go into detail, but sometime during the date, he had cornered me in the mostly empty parking lot and tried to choke me out because I wouldn't sleep with him. What? What the hell? I don't understand giving this guy a second date. What? After all of this? He's like, do you want to go out again? I can choke you in a parking lot and shove my fishy tongue in your mouth. And OP's like, yeah, I guess. Oh, come on. I don't want to victim blame. There has to be a reason for this, however. OP elaborates in the Twitch chat that she was scared because he knew where she lived, so she kept dating him so he wouldn't, like, unalive me. This is just a wild ride through and through. I didn't expect it to get this dark, this bad, this quick. But I don't know, man. I guess this does happen. I've said many times before, it must be so tough to be a woman. I don't know. I don't know what I can say to make it better, aside from the fact that I'm glad you're over it, or through it, rather. I don't know if you're over it necessarily. I hope this video might help with some of that. But yeah, this is just a terrible situation, and I do hope that he gets his comeuppance. If not in the story, then somewhere down the road, karma comes and chokes him right back. Good God. He then profusely apologized, saying he had some anger issues, but he didn't mean to, and if I listened, then that wouldn't have happened. Oh my God. Now that is victim blaming. Are you kidding me? Oh my, he's the worst. He's the worst. I hope he dies. He kissed my forehead and explained that I should just listen to him next time and bad things won't happen. I mean, probably banging this dude is one of the worst things that could happen. I'm going out tonight to buy a gun. Or a samurai sword or whatever's legal in your state. You just need to arm yourself. Then you say, no, never talk to me again. Then he shows up at your house and then you behead him. I thought later that I had imagined that encounter. My brain was already trying to block out the memory to protect me, as it tended to do. Oof, repression. But the light bruising on my neck told me otherwise. I was able to cover it with some foundation and no one asked questions. Maybe somebody should ask questions. Like, it's a difficult question to ask, but I'm legitimately concerned. Being desperate and thinking maybe he just wasn't so bad. He just had a temper and I could totally change him, right? you can never change them, okay? They have to want to change. That's like the very basic bare minimum. And this dude, no, doesn't seem like he has changing in the cards. Besides, I really liked his mom. Then date his mom. This is not okay. He was so nice otherwise. Yeah, I was dumb and young and used to being in a relationship, so to me, this was just sort of inevitable. See, I didn't want to level the accusation earlier. I didn't want to point at OP and be like, oh, well, you've been in relationships before and that's why you put up with this. But it is confirmed in like the last sentence of the story. So that does frame things a whole lot differently for me, especially after reading the Unfortunate saga, you know? So I do get a bit more where you're coming from, but it still really hurts, man. The next date we went on was a family trip to the zoo. He's gonna choke you in front of his mom. It's terrible. Which I will talk about in the next part. That one is a bit funnier and not as bad, but after that is his little sister's birthday. Oh my God, we got all kinds of parts queued up. My goodness. So I guess the inevitable question that needs asking at the end of a story like this is, did you bang a neckbeard, bro? And I guess we'll find out in the coming saga. Dating for 6 months, I would wager probably, yeah. But you know, everybody makes mistakes. Things like this happen. You have to learn what you don't like in order to know what you do like. And I don't think anybody's gonna like this. This guy is absolutely horrible. But at the end of it all, I do know that karma is coming for him. I don't have to worry about it all that much. But it really does still hurt that OP had to go through it. Good God. Kind of puts the first story in perspective. I'm watching my friend becoming a neckbeard. I don't want to get involved. Second story, like I dated a neckbeard because I think that I could fix him. Well, now we know what to do in the future. Leave well enough alone. He needs to make his own decisions on stuff like this. Good God. I hope that you guys enjoyed the story, at least in some form or fashion. Maybe like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate those things. Share the video around. Thank you so much in advance. We got all kinds of links in the description. Plugs, playlist, podcast. You know what it do. Or maybe you don't. There's Spotify and iTunes and Teespring and all sorts of stuff. We also did live stream this whole thing on Twitch. I've also got Twitter and Discord and Facebook if you want to visit me on any of those. I'd also like to thank my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous channel members and Patreon patrons, as I do every episode right now. Jerry Much. So thank you too. Dazzle Misery, Skylar Rain, The Fez Waver, That One Gay Cop, Valley Eye Crane, Sheeza, Rosie Rainbow, Slow Spooner, Sean Cantwell, Heaven Sent, Robert Thibodeau, Jackie McQuitty, Grim Strad, Trainboy, AJ Collins, A Tiny Boy, Tooth Plushy, Corey Arts, Kelly Clark, Legolas, Loser, Florentic Waver, Dungeon Bad, Billy D, Robert Waits, Brandon Ashcraft, John Endorse, Phantom Danica, Origami Steve, Skylar May, Amara, The Gypsy Barber, Fire Drake, Samantha, Death's Flagship, The Bearded Snake, and buy two, get one hand. Heading over to Patreon, we've got Miss Black, Harley Hohen, Robert Allen Waits, again, Camille Sarah, Chance the Blue Kraken, Roxanne Wolf, Sim, Jerry Conrad, Ingy Fluxer, I Need Coffee, Yummy Poo, Captain Cloud Jerry, Ellipses, Aaron Jerry, Deku, Esteban, Origami Steve, Santa Jerry, Silent Revolver, PCB, The Original Jerry, Ravencraft, Hamodius, The Fourth, Tick Jerry, Destiny Piper, Jerry, Kitsune, Salty Wizard, A Very Tired Jerry, feel that too, that's why I need a coffee, Justy Jargonia Jerry, and Frankenberry, Ain't That Hide Bitch Though, Assassin Jerry, Baby Jerry, Bailey Joy, Peter Jerry, Benji and the Jets, Billy D, Bitch Gremlin, Blade Hero, Brown Dragon, Commander J Tank, Dr. Lux, Aaron Era, Esports, Rose Never Studio, Fire Drake, Gizmo Jack, Hadrian BR, Inquisitor Jerry, Irish Pirate, Lust the Blue Marble in a Mutiny, oh tragic, Iron Olive, Radiant Jam, JM Coon, Jerry Smith, Jerry Blacktail, Jerry Outlaw, Mother Trunker, Honk Honk, Jerry, I'm begging you, please don't take my beard. What? Jerry, wake up! I don't like this, Jerry, wake up! What is happening right now? John Hero, Crewhee, Cuddly Kraken, Lady Italian Greyhound Dino, Lady in Awakening, Lauren Crow, Legitimate Girth, Miss Monday, Lord Jerry, Luca Vex was a race car driver. He was a good friend of mine. Never did win that checkered flag, but I helped him drink his wine. Like and subscribe, my Lady Nix, Melgar the Destroyer, Metal Flector, Needless King 89, Paragon Soul, Phantom of the Pines, Jerrykins, and Jerry Beth, Queens, Quaaludes, and Quagmires, Ramtide, Lacrimates, Rose Jerry Miller, Sarita the Lolita, Scarlet Scubbin, Sergeant Gate Cop, Bringer of the Law, Silo Whip, Steve Bugelli, 70 Good, their Synaptic Boomstick, Brilliant Tomago, Tabby of the Blue, the Gypsy Barber, the Lilith Who, Who are you fusky? This isn't even my final beard. Trying to find another bottle to get back in the real world. Vanguard Angel, VC3, Viking Jerry, Void the Comet Destroyer, Wiki Tech, Zephyr the Gargoyle, or Clay, Comrade Mooney, Kira, not another Jerry, but he is though, Cage Alex 9, Redwind, Bad Penny Lane, Knocked Saints Blessing, Third Stuff, Venom Jerry, Jace Richardson, One Leg Jerry has returned from battle. Salute to you. A normal Jerry. All right, Red. For you, I bring Doritos, but I count on your expertise if they attract beards. Yeah, no one's good. We'll chase them off with soap. Admiral T-Take, Amber Alder, another stupid hipster, Atomic Jerry Zilla, Breaker of the Tom Army, Bartender Kelia, Big Dad Wolf, Broken Spine Horse Radish, Cake Jerry, the original different Jerry, California Jerry Girl, Chevron 7 Lock, Chicana Panda, Corey does art sometimes, Cowabunga Cody, Cryptides, the Fawn Jerry, Def Tuna, Dilf Jerry, Dwarfy Dude, Dwarven Ramsey, half the calories, all of the hate.
Ghost of Alpha, Greymon 365, Heapknot, Hydra Jerry Solman, Janitor Jerry, roaming the streets of Finland, Jasmine, Jeffrey, Geralt of Arabia, Jerry, but with 2 S's and an E, Jerry Springer, the results are in, you are not the Neckbeard, Jerry the Sussy Baka, Jerry's mom has got it going on, check out the mustache on Jerry Aldo Rivera, Jerry Rockstars, Jerry Role-Playing Game, Keaton Tails, Kid Marvelous, Kids Again, Lucha Lovecraft, Machia CD, maybe next time Milkfed, get Miss Duchess, Mr. Gasmask, not Invisible Angel, Raptor Arc, Seldom Dark, Skybar, Ravenswood, Smegma Mail, Grind Set Jerry, and getting that cheese. God. Thanks, I hate it. Siri, that's Snom Jerry, Spoonie the Rogue, Spoopy Scary, Jerry Ton, all your season is coming up soon, Techno Dubs, the original Jerry, they call me Jerry Two Knives, Jerry Pie, to Infinite Jerry and beyond, Tokyo Bird, Unkale, Vaughn, throws 2 liter Mountain Dew, grow my neckbeard, grow. It's Jerry time, holds ReddX Morpher, Hygiene, it's Jerry time, holds ReddX Morpher, Humility, and thank you to my gorgeous $1 patrons as well.
Bless up all the Jerrys and not Jerrys alike. My goodness, there's so many. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. If you can afford to jump in and help me out, that's absolutely huge. But if you can't do it, don't sweat it too hard, friends. I just appreciate you coming on through, hanging out with me, and I hope that you'll come on back and hang out with me again tomorrow. In order to do so, you need to keep yourself safe out there. Wash your hands, but also take some time out and do something that you personally enjoy today. Maybe like watch some more ReddX videos. Huh? How about it? Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, and you definitely deserve it. I shall see you in the next one. And until then, friends, bye-bye.